Welcome to Real Medicine, Real Lives. I'm Dr. Yasser Sonbol, and together we're showing medical expertise in a human way. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Medicine, Real Lives. We're going to talk about health that actually fits your real life. Today, I'm Dr. Yasser Sonbol, the host, and today we're joined by Bryan Fetzer, who's a coach and wellness advocate. Bryan has a ton of experience. He's an owner of the Faith Nutrition and president there, Psi Optimal Sports. He's got 28 years or more of experience, coached at the collegiate level, contributor for ESPN, just great accolades. And he's here with us today to help us kind of understand fitness and health a little bit better. Brings decades of experience. And so we're going to get right into it and talk about things of how to improve your health and live a healthy lifestyle. Welcome, Bryan. Thanks for joining us today.
It's such a pleasure to be able to sit down and chat. Love it.
So let's kind of get into it. This is obviously a very big thing, right? Fitness and health, and people always trying to lose weight, be in shape. It's probably the number one thing most people try to focus on. And it's always hard, right? And with your lifestyle, etc. So the hardest thing is people always are like, I don't have time. I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to do this between work, children, other responsibilities, etc. So why don't we start out by maybe you can highlight some, things for people. What are just simple things that everybody can do, examples of stuff, even on their busiest days that may just allow some fitness to get into play?
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, that's typically one of the biggest excuses for somebody is that they say they don't have time. Well, you can make daily activities become fitness activities. One of the things that my wife did, she was working at home a lot, and she got a desk that she could raise to stand. So you could actually stand, you're engaging your core a little bit more. You're able to have kind of passive, I'll call it, exercise. Go out and walk. I mean, people that are on their phone a lot, grab your cell phone, go for a walk, talk as you're walking, as opposed to be sitting at a desk or sitting somewhere to do that. That's usually the easiest. Those are two simple ways to do things to kind of make it a little bit more applicable.
Great. How do you feel about those? They have these advertisements for these treadmills, these little treadmills that people can put on their desk, and they just walk on it while they're, work while they're talking or doing work, or they're watching their show or whatever else.
The sitting ones, I would be honest, I'm not a huge fan of, because it doesn't really do a whole lot in my opinion. But ones that they stand, I know several people that have the walking desks per se, and those are great. It's a great way to kind of get activity in during your normal day, your normal routine.
Great. And then, if somebody's looking to build a healthy routine that, makes you actually stick to it, what is some advice you may give them on how to maybe start that routine, implement it, stick to it, not deviate from their goals?
Yeah, one of the things, you get to find individual aspects that you enjoy doing. Prime example, my wife is a prime example of it. She'll probably kill me for bringing her up in it. But, I like to go to the gym and work out. That's my kind of release. It's a stress release to go there and lift weights. Been doing it my entire life. She doesn't like to do that. She likes to be in classes. So go to a fitness class where you have other individuals of kind of a like mind or like goals that are trying to get things done. Then there's tons of them out there. There's, anything from stuff that's outside to inside a fitness facility, but get a community around you that's going to be able to support you and do something that you actually enjoy doing. Shoot, it might be going play basketball, or if you're a golfer, instead of riding in a cart, walk. I mean, those are some basic, simple ways to kind of get into things and to get it so it's more specific to what you want to do.
So it's interesting that you mentioned walking a lot, because, I think that's actually an excellent exercise that people underestimate. There was actually a period of time about back in 2018 where I decided to one day just grab my dog and go for a walk. And it started this spark where I walked almost every day for 270 days straight, where I didn't miss a day. I would just get up, go walking, and come home. And it depended on how many miles I would walk. And I think people underestimate the value of that because they don't think it's true exercise because you're just walking. Maybe you can enlighten people why walking is actually a really good exercise, and it's an easy one to do and simple.
Sure. Well, the biggest thing is the low impact that it has on your body. Some people can't go out and run. because of, they have knee conditions or low back conditions, or they might not have an area to go run that's quite as optimal as what they might need. So just going for a walk is something simple that you can do. Like I said, you can be on your phone, get on your phone with it. But I would advise go out and look around. Most of us live in areas that there's sights to see. It doesn't have, it has to be right in your backyard. It can be, go to a mall, walk around a mall. There's a lot of the mall walking groups that are still out there, or go walk in a wooded area, some kind of a nature area, be able to see and get some vitamin D, some great nutrition from the sun. Vitamin D has been proven to be something that a lot of individuals are deficient in, and they could use it by simply just going out and walking and getting some vitamin D in you.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think walking has actually been, it's a very relaxing exercise even, I mean, I've noticed days when I've gone on a walk where it just kind of, after a stressful day, it's just an easy way to kind of have a stress relief and so forth. So I agree. It's a great exercise.
I mean, I did it personally. I found during when we were in the craziness of COVID, getting out and just going for a walk and, just breathing in some fresh air, your body loves that. And just, you said, a stress reliever. You can, if you walk with a cell phone, talk to somebody maybe, but otherwise listen to some music, do something that kind of hits your button to reduce that stress levels. Because we all know that stress wreaks havoc on the body.
Sure. And on that same topic, I have patients that come to my office where I ask them, are you doing any exercise? And they'll say, well, I walk at work all day. Do you consider somebody who says I walk at work to be exercise, or how would you define walking as an exercise to patients or people in general, so they can understand, what criteria they should meet when they're walking?
Well, I mean, you want to walk at a pretty brisk pace. You want to get your heart rate up for one, if you're doing it. I mean, there's kind of the stroll that you're maybe going with your significant other and you're going for a casual walk on a beach or something like that. We get to do that in South Florida a little bit more than maybe some other places, but just getting out there and doing it sometime for work. Yeah, I would agree. Somebody's at work, they're working and they do a lot of steps per se. I know that's a big item for most people. They're counting their steps, how many steps they're taking during the day. And that's great if it's a goal, that you can set a parameter and say, hey, I want to have 10,000 steps a day. I want to have 20,000 steps. It can make it a little challenging. I know I have some friends that are pretty obsessed with the quote unquote step count. And if they know that they're, 1,000 steps less than what their goal was for the day, that they're walking out their door at like 9 o'clock at night and just kind of walking around a parking lot or walking around the block to make sure they get those steps up.
Sure. No, I completely agree. So, I mean, and so what kind of advice would you give to people? Obviously exercise is a big deal. And, people can start something. I always tell people, I think the hardest part about exercise, in my opinion, is actually just starting exercising. Right.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, I think, what would you tell people who, for example, start an exercise program, life gets in the way, they kind of stop a little bit, so they feel like they're failing over and over again as try to commit to an exercise, or to commit to a healthy lifestyle. And so what kind of things would you tell them, regardless of how many failures they have, this is an important thing to continue moving forward?
Well, one, you got to understand some of the physiology. It takes 28 days for adaptations to start to occur in the body. So you start to see progress 28 days and past. Then in addition to that, it's statistics say that 90 days it takes to make a habit, that you start getting in a habit and doing things. So you got to be able to do things for a couple months to get it going. But one of the things that you have to do is, one, you can always have variation. Whether it's walking one day, going to the gym one day, whether it's swimming one day, playing golf, it could be pickleball has become such a fad now. Doing something that you're active, that you're making yourself sweat, you're doing a little bit more than the normal part. And just being inactive, sitting on the couch, sitting in a chair all the time, take some breaks during the day. If you're at a job that requires you to do a lot of sitting, make sure you stand up, take some calls, do some notes standing up, do some things where you're kind of moving around just even for a little bit, take minor breaks. throughout the day and to get things going. A good friend of mine named Walt Klein came up with an acronym called AMPS. That's activation, movement, performance, strength. And you kind of want to keep those things inside and do one of those things on a regular basis. Activation, moving around. You can do something simple as just some mobility exercises. There's tons of them out there that you can look on YouTube and kind of see from a mobility standpoint. But then also from a standpoint of doing something that there is movement. Your performance piece, that can be varied on what you're trying to accomplish, what kind of goals. You had talked about, wanting to lose weight. That could be your performance goal of losing weight. And, the other one is strength training. It is really important because of the decline as we get older to do some form of strength training to make sure that the muscles and the bones and the joints stay healthy, as opposed to just being, in a very sedentary state.
Gotcha. So really the myth that tons of cardio, no weightlifting, tons of weightlifting, no cardio, that's not true, right?
No.
You really need to be a balance between both at some point, correct?
Absolutely. And more so on the strength training side standpoint than it is even the cardio standpoint, because your body's, it's a skeleton, right? You got to make sure you keep all those pieces, all those muscles in top form to make sure you stay upright, you have good posture. All those kind of things lead into a healthy lifestyle, but variation is really the key.
Perfect. Bryan, can you just tell people kind of if they wanted to find you, where would they find you?
Yeah, you can reach out to ironfaithnutrition.com and send us a message if you're looking for our nutrition store, or it's SciOptimal. SciOptimal.com is our mental health and mental optimization company that we try to provide assessments and provide individuals an opportunity to deal with mental health issues.
Great. All right, everybody. So hang with us. We're going to go to a quick commercial. We kind of highlighted some stuff about exercise. Next, we're going to talk about nutrition, which I think is probably the most important part of living a healthy lifestyle. Bryan's going to give us some ideas about what healthy nutrition looks like without obsessing over all the macros and measuring every bite that you eat. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stick with us. We'll be right back with more real stories, real breakthroughs, and real lives transformed.